Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that wall, and Shalom to the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel and the rest of the elect destined to be saved. I am the brother Caleb from the GMS England London Forecasters Camp, back with another lesson to help edify those of which I spoke of. I always like to open by saying that we are the real Hebrew Israelites, and the real Israelites are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, and West Africans predominantly. But you will find Israelites that do look like the other nations, because we as a people have been scattered among all nations throughout our various captivities. But if your seed line by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible that was named Israel, then you too are an Israelite, no matter what you may look like, because Numbers chapter 1 and the 18th verse clearly states that your nationality is determined by the lineage of your forefathers. So I was reading this article earlier this morning, and I thought it'd be edifying to do a video about. It's from BBC News. It says, Hull funeral director's inquiry, 2 bailed as ashes recovered. This was published on the 12th of March, so a couple days ago. It says 2 people have been bailed as officers removed 35 bodies and a quantity of ashes from the funeral director in Hull, police have said. The bodies and ashes were taken from Legacy Independent Funeral Directors on Hessel Road to another mortuary. A 46-year-old man and a 23-year-old woman were arrested after reports of concern for care of the deceased. At a press conference, Humberside Police said it was a horrific incident traumatizing families. They also said that they had received more than 1,000 phone calls about it from the public since Friday. They added that specialist and forensic teams are searching at business premises linked to the suspects. The pair were in custody on suspicion of prevention of a lawful indecent burial, fraud and false representation, and fraud by abuse of position. Now let me say something to you here, right? 35 bodies. That's just what they found now. What the question that has to be asked is, how long has this funeral director's been in business? And the second question that should be asked is, why would they keep bodies of the deceased? Well, there is an answer as to why they would keep bodies of the deceased, and it goes into satanic witchcraft. Because what a lot of these witches will do is there's a lot of things they can do with dead bodies. One such thing they can do is something called skull necromancy, where what a lot of witches will do is they will actually try and purchase skulls. Oftentimes human skulls. See, this is the thing. There are levels to everything. A lot of witches start off with animal bones, and eventually they start working up to human remains. Now, what they'll do with skull necromancy is that they can actually get a spirit to inhabit a deceased skull, and they can communicate with it. Yeah. Sounds like I'm making it up, right? Well, I ain't making it up. This is all real, man. So, skull necromancy is real. And, there's places where people go to purchase these bones. And there's people who sell organs. We know about organ trafficking already. So there's already a market for that. But there's also a market for dead bodies and dead body parts, because they can use it in their rituals. Skull necromancy being one thing. Ashes of the deceased being another. That's why sometimes at a lot of these places where a lot of rituals take place, when they dig in the ground, what do they find there? Human remains or animal remains, bones under the ground. They take these things and they'll bury them in certain places, or and they'll consecrate the grounds. All kind of mad shit they do. But look, man, this ain't no fucking fairy tale shit. This shit is very real, man. I was speaking to another brother in the camp recently about witchcraft and, our personal testimonies and experiences of, things that have happened to us via witches. And I said to him, and I was really saying it to myself at the same time, but I'm going to say this out loud right now. Because of the world in which we live in, where a lot of things are portrayed as being fairy tale or fantasy, well, there's a saying in the world, the truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes you need to remind yourself, and I'm speaking to myself first and foremost, that this shit is real. You know, witchcraft is real. Satanic rituals are real. Summoning of demons is real. Conjuring of familiar spirits is real. This ain't no Mickey Mouse shit, because a lot of times, you know, it's easy to think that, oh yeah, oh I know Sue, and Sue's into witchcraft, yeah, but she's just a white witch, or, you know, there's this sort of, I think it's like a level of denial as to how deep the rabbit hole goes. You know, there's a level of conscious denial about, oh, she's a witch, but oh, she's just harmless. Yeah, they're just harmless. No, they ain't fucking harmless, man. There's a reason why the scriptures clearly state, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. The Most High detests witchcraft. And the thing is, what you got to remember is that, again, there's levels to things. If these witches, if what they were doing had no effect and no tangible reward, they wouldn't do it. Because you know what, by nature, getting into psychology, by nature, most people are very lazy. Most people don't exert themselves when they don't have to, especially as they get older. So what you got to consider is that the people who do this shit, they're putting a lot into it. They probably go as hard on the left hand as we do on the right. So for them to be consistently doing something, that means there has to be some tangible benefit, some tangible gain. So this shit is very real, and it does work. Just consider what was happening in ancient Egypt, man. When Moses went to confront Pharaoh and he was performing his miracles, what did Pharaoh do? He called his magi and they were performing the similar miracles too. But they were doing it on the left-hand side. Case in point, or good example being, when Moses threw down his Aaron's staff and it became a serpent, and they threw down their staffs and they became serpents. Whose rod swallowed up who? Aaron's rod swallowed. I believe it was Aaron's rod. Forgive me. I think it was. I can't remember if it was Moses or Aaron's rod, but it swallowed up the staffs of Pharaoh's magicians, showing that the power of the Most High is always greater than the power of the left-hand side. But see, in this world, because we live in a very ungodly world, where most people don't believe in spiritual matters, when they start to see the power of the left hand, it allures them and it draws them in. And that's like the lust for power can be quite intoxicating, because everybody wants power. But the thing about power is that power can come in many forms, but the only power that lasts is the power that's given from Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's eternal. And, you know, when you're tapped into that, no other power compares to it. What do the scriptures say? There is no enchantment against Israel, roughly paraphrasing. But yeah, let me get back to this article, because I've kind of gone on a tangent. But yeah, this is also in some witchcraft shit. That's why they're hiding bodies and, you know, keeping ashes on the premises and shit. I mean, they're using that shit in rituals, man. Let me get into it more, right? So it says, the pair were in custody on suspicion of prevention of a lawful and decent burial, fraud by false representation, and fraud by abuse of position. But they have since been released while a police inquiry continues. Officers cordoned off 3 Legacy Independent Funeral Directors' sites after the force received a report on Wednesday of concerns in relation to the storage and management of the premises and the deceased people within those premises. However, cordons have since been lifted from all 3 premises in Hessel Road and Annabilly Road in Hull and Bexley in Beverley. At Tuesday's... See, look, this shows that they've got 3 sites, right? So the people who are running it, they're operating a ring there, man. They're operating in a ring. Let's keep going. But see, they're never going. The truth is never going to come out in mainstream media, because they don't want people knowing that this shit is real. But to those who are in the know, they know, and to those who are in the know on the right hand side, we know. But this is all a fluff piece, isn't it? Let's just keep reading. Officers, I've read that part. However, the cordons have been lifted. Read that part. At Tuesday's press conference, Assistant Chief Constable Tom McLaughlin said, I can confirm at this stage that between Friday and Monday, 8th of March, and the evening of Saturday 9th of March, we have received a total of 35 deceased who have now been respectfully transported to the mortuary in Hull, and formal identifications are now taking place. In addition, we have also received a quantity of what we suspect to be human ashes. I'm saying it in the voice of in the tone of a typical Edomite who doesn't believe in God, innit? We're in the process of carefully recovering all those ashes and taking those to the mortuary. He said that investigations was at a critical point with more than 120 officers and police staff from some other areas of the country working on the case. It's all a big fucking cover-up, man, because the police are in on it too. What, you think they don't know? You think they don't know? Shh. Again, this is just a fluff piece to appease the regular people out there who are like, oh, they kept my grandma and they didn't bury her properly. Oh, it's so bad, isn't it? Yeah, it's terrible. Oh, Shirley, yeah, it's terrible, isn't it? Oh, put the kettle on, lover, and yeah, have a nice cup of tea and forget about it. And, you know, next week we'll be talking about something else. Nah, man, this is some ritual shit that's been taking place for a very long time, and it's just coming out now. But they're gonna fucking sweep it under the carpet and not let people really get in on the short and skinny and what's really going on, man. We live in a very satanic world, very satanic society, where you got all kinds of fucking how do you even say this, man? All kinds of brotherhoods, and fraternities who pledge their allegiance to Satan in private. Behind closed doors, they're throwing up the they're moving like the 3-6 Mafia, but outwardly they try to appeal civil and upright and fine, upstanding members of society who are, God-fearing Christians and all this kind of shit. It's all a fucking front, man. It's all a fucking front. Let me get into this some more. Where am I at? Deputy Chief Constable David Marshall told the press conference that it was an extremely complex and sensitive investigation with heartbroken families at the core, and expresses his sincere and deepest sympathies for the families of those affected and anybody else affected by the reports. We are continuing to support families involved through this extremely difficult and distressing time, he said. Yeah, how would you feel to know that your granddad had been sitting under a fucking funeral home for God knows how many years, while these people have been using their various body parts for various rituals and incantations and, necromancy and all kind of madness? See, people pay good money for human body parts, man. This is a sick world we live in, man. This is a sick, evil world, and Yahushua needs to come back and destroy this place quick time, man. Let me keep reading. It says, I want to reassure them and the wider public that we are doing everything we can to give them the reassurance and the answers to the questions that they desperately want. Yeah, so you're going to tell me why you kept my grandma under the fucking stairs for God knows how many years? Where's my grandma's liver? Oh shit, you used it in a ritual. Oh no, where's my grandma's brain? Oh, used it in another ritual. Oh, so are you giving people them answers? No, they're not going to be giving people them answers, man, because the truth would sicken a lot of people if they knew what was really going on in this world, man. But now, yeah, read The Sun today, Shirley. Let's go home and watch Coronation Street. Yeah, put Emmerdale Farm on and forget about it. Yeah, ta-ra, love. That's the world we live in, man. A world of distractions and illusions, while all the meantime these people are doing their demonic shit out there and getting away with it, man. Or supposedly, I say supposedly with inverted commas in the air, because they ain't getting away with shit, because there's a price for everything. And especially in witchcraft, there's a price to everything. And so it is with the Most High. If you practice the odious works of witchcraft, don't be surprised when the Most High brings eventual judgment upon you because of it. The scriptures talk about, because sentence against an evil work isn't executed speedily, therefore the hearts of them is fully setting them to do evil. You see, a lot of people ain't getting dropped on the spot for practicing witchcraft right now. But guess what? That judgment will come. And when Yahushua comes back, man, he's coming to reward every man according to as their works are. That's in Revelation 22. I'll get that later. Let's read on some more. He said, many were shocked and horrified and re-traumatized through grief. Yeah, damn right you should be re-traumatized, man. How do you feel to know that they cut your granddad's head off and they've been using it in skull necromancy? Oh, that's not a pleasant thought. I mean, it's hard enough, because people are bugged out by death mostly anyway, because they don't understand spiritual matters, as we do. We know the scriptures. We know what happens to a person's soul when they die. See, this is the thing, talking about ghosts and stuff, right? You got these people who call themselves mediums who claim that they can communicate with the spirits of the deceased. And now that is true, because there's an account of that where you've got the Witch of Endor, when Saul consulted the Witch of Endor to call up the spirit of Samuel. What happened to Saul as a result of that? Maybe I should bring that precept out, because it's a very good point. The price that Saul paid for that was that he was to be put to death the very next day, and his sons with him, including Jonathan, who was actually a man of the Lord. Jonathan was of the elect. He was a very, very close friend with King David. But unfortunately, Jonathan had to perish because of his father's wickedness. It's a classic case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, man, with the wrong people. You see, this is the thing, man. You can't be a fool in this world and think, oh yeah, they're just my mates, I'll hang out with them. Nah, man, you gotta check people, man. You gotta keep your eyes on people, man, because people be doing some foul shit behind closed doors. And when the Lord brings judgment upon them, and if you're caught up around them at the time that judgment comes, that's your ass, man. That's your ass. That's why you've got to be very careful about who you associate with, man. Really, if you're in this truth, you shouldn't really be seeking to be a friend of the world. That's James 4:4. James 4:4 says, ye adulterers and adulteresses, know you not that the friendship of the world is enmity with the Most High God? Therefore, whoever will be a friend of the world is the enemy of the Most High God. So, this isn't a case of wanting to be popular on this side, man. Life isn't a fucking popularity contest. That's something that parents should teach their children from a very early age. Life ain't no fucking popularity contest. It doesn't matter how many people know you. Oh, I've got 1,503 friends on Facebook. Oh, I've got 10,000 people following me on Instagram. Fuck that shit, man. Quality over quantity trumps every single time. If you're in this truth and you're a sincere brother, and you have one sincere brother whom you're very blessed. If that brother's sincere too, and that's a beautiful union, man, because there's another scripture which says, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. I'll say that again. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So therefore, that in turn sums up what I'm saying. Many people in this world are cold, heartless, ruthless, uncaring, unfeeling, selfish, disgusting, nasty-ass people. Why would you want a multitude of them to be associated with you? Thinking of Matthew 7, enter ye in at the straight gate. For straight is the gate, and narrow is the way that entereth unto life. But broad is the way that leadeth unto destruction, and many there be that go in thereat. Roughly paraphrasing. So there's and even in Second Ezra's, I'm roughly paraphrasing. Bear with me, I'm just flowing in the spirit, man. These precepts are in my head. I'm roughly paraphrasing them. I believe it's in Second Ezra's. As a wave is greater than a drop, so it is greater. There be more of them than perish than them that shall be saved. Roughly paraphrasing. Bear with me if I've butchered it. Hopefully you can follow along. But that's just me flowing in the spirit with these precepts entered into my head. Let me keep moving, right? So it says, many were shocked and horrified and re-traumatized through grief as the incident came to light. The Assistant Chief Constable said that the force's dedicated helpline numbers remain open, having had more than 1,000 phone calls since Friday. I would like to take this opportunity to speak directly to the families of loved ones affected through this truly terrible set of circumstances, said Mr. McLaughlin. Yeah, but what are you fucking doing about it? What? Talk about flipping, just scratching the surface of a situation. My heart goes out to all of you, and I can only imagine how it's distressing and how upsetting it would be for you and your families. Yeah, right. Let's get another article. I ain't finished with this shit yet. Not by a long shot. This is from Yahoo News. What we know about truly horrific Hull funeral in home investigation. Police have removed more than 35 bodies. 35 dead bodies, you know, that they claim to have buried. But these corpses are sitting on their premises for God knows how long, you know. So, and you've got to put yourself into the mindset, all right? Put yourself into the mindset. You're supposed to be a funeral director, which means your job is to put people in the ground, all right? But somehow you think, you know, man, I'm gonna shortchange these people. I'm gonna stuff these bodies in the back room, and I'm gonna give them a closed casket, so they're just burying an empty box, an empty coffin. But yet you're holding on to these bodies. What are you holding on to them for? What are you gonna do with it? See, this is the thing. What are you gonna do with it? It's an interesting thing about thieves. I dealt with a thief recently, and I was putting myself, trying to, well, I guess you could say, psychoanalyze his intentions or actions, because he was stealing some strange shit that would have had no meaning or value to him, but yet he keeps stealing it from me, stealing my shit, right? And when I thought about it, I had to come to the conclusion that, you know what, man, this guy's got a demon on him, the demon of kleptomania, meaning that the demon just wants to take shit. And that's the purpose of the demon, to just take shit. It doesn't matter if it has any practical use or purpose for this person. The demon feeds off taking shit. Well, let's apply this to this funeral home. What do they get out of taking bodies? I don't think it's a case of kleptomania, because you steal a body, oh yeah, we've done it once, done it twice, yeah, but the body's not going to use, so I can't really do anything with it. Why would you keep doing it? Why are you going to do it 35 fucking times? Probably even more, because this is just what they've found right now. God knows however long this funeral home has been in service. There are 3 branches supposedly, and what was it called? Legacy funeral homes. So how long has this legacy been going on? This legacy of stealing corpses? Even if they aren't doing witchcraft and they're just selling organs on the black market, that's still those organs are still being used for nefarious purposes, if not by them, by the people who buy them. Organ transplants, you know, these elites are into that shit. You know, heart transplants, fucking lung transplants and shit. That's some off shit, man. I mean, according to the scriptures, you shouldn't really be doing that, because really it comes into drinking blood. Now, I know there's certain brothers who have certain health conditions and they have to have blood transfusions and stuff like that. But technically, that does go into the drinking of blood, because in Genesis 9, we were commanded that we shouldn't eat the blood, because the blood is the life. So really, if you're sitting in a chair, someone puts a needle into you and they're injecting blood into your body, you're not drinking it via your mouth, but you're still ingesting it into your body, because you're taking another life and putting it into yours, which is technically going off. Now, again, I'm not saying that to I'm just saying it as a factual matter, because I know there's certain brothers who do have certain health conditions where they're in their unfortunate situation where their life depends on this stuff, but at the same time it's going off, but at the same time we're under grace. Now, you know, it depends on how you're doing it, because there's certain people who do it for nefarious purposes, and they use it in blood magic, blood rituals. You know, that's a whole different kettle of fish right there. But yeah, this shit's real. Anyway, let's get back into this. Police have removed 35 bodies and the suspected ashes. As I said, ashes are used in witchcraft as well. Human ashes, yeah, best believe. From a number of others from Legacy. See, it's called Legacy, and it's independent too. So who's running this shit? Independent Funeral Directors Limited in Hull. It says police are continuing to investigate after the bodies of over 30 people and the suspected ashes of a number of others were removed from a funeral directors in Hull. 2 people were arrested and bailed after the bodies were removed from Legacy Independent. See, what does legacy mean? Let's get into these words, all right? Let's have a look at this, all right? Legacy. Names have meaning. Legacy. A gift of property, especially of personal property, such as money. Here's the definition I want. Number 2. Anything handed down from the past as from an ancestor or a predecessor. Peep that definition. Legacy. Anything handed down from the past as from an ancestor or a predecessor. Now this is very interesting, because what you've got is a lot of you've got generational witches, man. Witches who've been witches in their family lineages for generations. And, you know, the parents pass it down to the children, and they pass it down to their children, and their children, and their children, and their children. Legacies of lineages of witches, you know? And someone who goes into that is, you can listen to the old audio recordings of John Todd, who was a former Satanist, but then he started speaking out against it, and he talked about in his family, you know, a legacy of witches into witchcraft. Yeah, that's what I want. That's definition 2. That's that. Yeah, back to what I was saying, legacy and independent. What does independent mean? So it's called Legacy Independent Funeral Directors, right? Independent means not influenced or controlled by others in matters of opinion, conduct, etc., thinking or acting for oneself. Not subject to another's authority or jurisdiction. Autonomous, free. Not influenced by the thoughts or actions of others. You know, that's basically a general summary of what I wanted to get into with the meaning. So it's called legacy, as in meaning something that's been passed down, yeah. Independent, meaning that they're free or acting independently away from others. Funeral directors. It's all in the name. So they've been doing this shit for a very long time. Legacy Independent Funeral Directors in Hessel Road and taken to Hull Mortuary. Forgive me. Following what senior officers have called a truly horrific incident. Yeah, better look like Resident Evil in there. Families from Hull and the East Riding have been expressing their concerns over what may have happened to their relatives' bodies after they were entrusted to Legacy for funerals. Sinister undertones here. Humberside Police have pledged to put the heartbroken families of those affected at the core of its investigation at the Hull Funeral Parlour. Emily Hardy, the MP for Hull West and Hessel, said she was grateful. I'm grateful to the police for working around the clock and for for pursuing this investigation in such a thoughtful and sensitive way. Yet again, sweeping the real issue under the carpet and putting, fucking throwing some glitter and fairy dust over it to make it seem okay. I'm fucking sick of this world, man. These people are in their fucking, these hypocrites, man. These hypocrites who just talk shit, man. Anyway, what we know. Humberside Police first received reports of concern for care of the deceased on Wednesday, the 6th of March. Residents later reported police outside branches at Annanby Road and Hessel Road, both in Hull, at around 3 a.m. on Tuesday, the 7th of March. Now that's very interesting because 3 a.m. is what's considered to be the witching hour. Again, a lot of these newspapers, someone could say, oh, but you're reading into it too much, and symbolism is very real. Look it up, man. The witching hour. Actually, let me do it right now. If I can open up another tab. New tab. Witching hour. Yeah. For those of you who think I was talking shit, peep this. Witching hour. In folklore, the witching hour or the devil's hour is a time of night that is associated with supernatural events, whereby witches, demons, and ghosts are thought to appear and to be at their most powerful. Definitions vary and include the hour immediately after midnight and the time between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. The term now has a widespread colloquial and idiomatic usage that is associated with human physiology and behavior more superstitious phenomena such as luck. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because there's certain times when the veil between the realms is thinner than others. So these witches know that. That's why, man. Why do you think you get people fucking hanging around cemeteries at night time, man? You think they're doing it just because it's, something to do? Yeah, we'll just hang out and play poker in the cemetery. Nah, man, people be going in these cemeteries at night time because they know that the veil between the realms, the spiritual realm and the demonic realm is thinner. So therefore they are more able to communicate with these spirits easier at certain times. And also on certain days of the year. We've got our high holy days. But on the left hand side, they've got their satanic high holy days too, man. This shit is real, man. I'm going to read Ephesians 6 and verse 10. I think I'm fucking joking about this shit. The scriptures could say it better than I ever could. Forgive me, I've been talking a lot. I know I've been roughly paraphrasing Priestess. I'm just in the mood to just flow in the spirit. But let me read something verbatim. Get some strength to this thing, man. Ephesians 6 verse 10. We were warned. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armour of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. See, the devil is the one who's in control of this world right now. That's why so many people worship Satan on this side. But we who are in the truth, we know that Satan is just a double agent working for the Most High. But he's lying to all these witches and all these, elites to make them think that he's the one running the show. And that he's somehow going to be able to overthrow Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. And that he's going to be able to grant them the desires of their heart. But really, he's just a double agent, man. He's actually, you see, Satan's actually righteous. Because he's doing the will of the Most High just on the left-hand side. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armour of the Most High God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High God. You know, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. These scriptures are powerful. These are our defense. You know, back to the story. It's not hard to find. Where was I? What tab? Let me get this back. Bring it back. Back. Figure give me a lot of I've got a lot of tabs. Here we go. Keeping tabs on a lot of tabs. Humberside Police first received reports of concern for care of this deceased on Wednesday the 6th. Oh, isn't that an interesting number? You got the 6 in there. Of March, because again, a lot of this is symbolism and numerology. Wednesday the 6th of March, residents later reported to police at branches at Annabley Road and Hessel Road at Hull at around 3 a.m, which is the witching hour, on Thursday 7th of March. 3 branches were cordoned off as officers conducted their investigations. Humberside Police later confirmed that 35 loaves of brown bread, aka dead people, 35 dead people bodies had been removed from the Hessel Road branch. The bodies were removed between Friday morning and Saturday evening. Formal identification is now taking place at Hull City Mortuary. A 46-year-old and a 23-year-old woman were arrested. I believe it said a 22-year-old woman in the other article. Get your facts straight. Were arrested on suspicion of prevention of unlawful and decent burial, fraud by false representation, and fraud by abuse of a position. They have since been released by police or bail. The National Security and Allied Independent Funeral Directors said that Legacy is not and has never been a member of its group. There you go. Adding to its deeply distressed about the claims. Specialist officers continue to search 3 of the firm's sites in Hull and Beverley, East Yorkshire on Tuesday, while the force confirmed more than 120 police and civilian staff are working on the case. The Legacy branding has been removed from the branch in Bexley, Beckside, Beverley. Deputy Chief Constable David Marshall told a press conference in North Ferriby on Tuesday, "We are continuing to support the families involved through this extremely difficult and distressing time." He added that it was extremely complex and sensitive investigation. Concerned families from Hull and East Yorkshire have taken to social media to express their concerns over what may have happened to their relatives' bodies after they were entrusted to Legacy for funerals. Assistant Chief Constable Thomas McLaughlin told reporters that more than 1,000 calls have been received from concerned members of the public since the news broke. Hull and West Hessel MP Emma Hardy has reassured families affected by the investigation that they will be contacted personally by officers. The victim support also has dedicated a telephone line which is available to people, blah, 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 blah. What we don't know. Whilst we know that 2 people have been arrested and released on bail, we don't know who they are or their connections to the funeral home, if any. We also do not have any information as to who contacted the police in the first place or how many people reported their concerns. There's also no information as to how any suspicions were first aroused. Sources have told the Mirror that the parlour was targeted by the police following an undercover sting, but those reports are unconfirmed. Marshall told reporters that families were understandably distraught. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Let's jump down because I've read most of this in the other article. What were the families affected said? Families have spoken of their heartbreak at the news of the investigation. Billy Joe Suffield, 33, lost her father, Andy, suffered in 2022. Yeah, during the might be during the sea thing, and told the son that she fears that she was kissing an empty coffin, and that she has never received his ashes. She said, "I bet my dad was not even in the damn coffin." I'm laughing, but this shit ain't funny, man. She said, "I bet my dad was not even in the coffin. It was an empty coffin that I was kissing. An empty coffin." When I think about it, it's disgusting. Another family told the paper that they believed the ashes of their loved one, which they had been wearing as jewelry, and that's some off shit, man. You don't be fucking... Look, man, cremation ain't an Israelite custom anyway, but most of the... That's a fucking Jedi custom, for those of you who watch Star Wars. But to cremate fucking, you know, a relative and then put their ashes in a pendant and be walking around with, that's some fucking off shit, man. That's some foul shit, man. You know, dead bodies are unclean, man. When you touch a dead body, you're unclean. So why would you have something that's unclean on your person 24/7? Yeah, people, man. But again, it goes into witchcraft, doesn't it? People who know they're practicing witchcraft and those who don't, thinking that they've got some sort of secret magical power because they've got their granddad in a fucking locket on their neck. Yeah, my granddad keeps me safe. I pray to my granddad at night. Yeah, well, you're doing necromancy, man. You're supposed to fucking pray to your dead family members, man. Anyway, another family told the paper that they would believe the ashes of their loved ones, which they had been wearing as jewelry, could be the remains of another person. How comforting that thought must be. A friend of the family said the man died in July last year. After the cremation, they brought his ashes back. The daughter slept with them beside her bed. Oh my gosh, why would you do that? And the family also took them to the pub for a memorial. But now they have found out that he wasn't cremated and has been in the freezer all this time. I shouldn't laugh, it's not funny. It's not funny, man. This is some real shit, man. Oh, imagine that though. Emma Osborne said that she had been informed of that her stepfather, Danny Middleton, had been one of the bodies removed from the funeral parlour. However, she told the Telegraph that relatives received that they were told his ashes a month ago. Let me read that again. However, she told the Telegraph that relatives received what they were told were his ashes a month ago. She added, as far as we know, he got his ID banned on him, and that's all we know. He has not been identified properly. They, the funeral directors, have given my stepbrother's ashes a month ago. They have given him ashes saying it was my stepdad. I always wondered that too, you know. Even as a young person, before I knew the truth, I always wondered how, like, when someone's cremated, how do you even know that that's them? I mean, cremation is such an easy way for fucking organ trafficking. If you don't have an open casket, I suppose. But even then, they could do the whole flipping magician's switch where they have an open casket. Even then, when you've got an open casket, the organs have often been removed anyway. But they can have an open casket. Then when they say, okay, we're going to move to the cremation hall, hey, do the whole magician's, the magician's trick where they, you put a fucking ball under 3 cups and you're moving them around. You switch out the coffins, yeah? Put an empty coffin there, burn the shit, send the person the ashes, and then you've kept that dead body. Because as I said, people pay a lot of money for human body parts because they know that they can be used for, rituals and shit. So, reading on. When you talk about skeletons in the closet, right? Eddie Murphy made a lot of jokes about women having skeletons in the closet. That ain't no fucking joke, man. There's a lot of fucking witches out there who have got human body parts in their home and they're doing witchcraft with it. Literal skeletons in their closets, man. We live in a foul, savage world, man. Anyway, reading on. Another woman who asks not to be named told the Mail Online that she was suffering from panic attacks and depression at discovering her partner's ashes in her home may be from someone else. Yeah, that's real. You got another dead body in your home. Some person you don't even know. She added that while she has not been told the ashes were wrong, she's worried as there's so much speculation on social media that you just don't know what to think. A man who used a funeral home for his mother and father in 2022 and 2023 told The Guardian that he was in absolute shock after police contacted him to tell him he may have been affected by the investigation. He added, "It's not knowing if they told us something like that doesn't go back that far." Oh, let me read this, let me get this right. He added, "It's not knowing if they told us something like that it doesn't go back that far, we'd be more settled. It's just a waiting game now. The police said 2 weeks. Fingers crossed we don't hear anything." The police, this has been a truly horrific incident, police have said, amid an investigation into a funeral home in England where 35 bodies have been recovered. A grieving widow is reportedly looking for answers after she turned her late husband's ashes into jewellery and now discovered that they may not have been his remains. Yes. Yeah, alright. This is just going on and on and on, like the never-ending story. I've read enough about that. You get the point, man. Look at the scriptures. Where am I at? Where's my... crap. Bear me a second. Looking for my precepts in this, part of the course I can't find my device which I look for precepts on. And it was just right here with me. I might have to oh, there it is, found it, it's on the floor, dropped. So precepts. Here we go. This is Deuteronomy 18 verse 10. Forgive me. I'm gonna close out soon because my voice is kind of going. Deuteronomy chapter 18 and the 10th verse says let me start from verse 9. Deuteronomy 18:9. When thou art come into the land which the Lord Yahweh thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or daughter to pass through the fire, meaning child sacrifice, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, astrology, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. Now, again, I gave this example before, but there's witches who will go into cemeteries at, wizards and witches who will go into cemeteries at like 3 a.m. in the morning, and, they'll ask spirits questions, they'll do their rituals, and they'll be communicating with spirits and shit. This is all very real. So, I mean, it's a simple case of connecting the dots, man. You got a funeral home called Legacy Independent who's been keeping stiffs, stealing corpses. Why are they doing it? What possible logical reason could there be for it? Organ trafficking, satanic rituals. It ain't so hard, it ain't so hard to work out. For all those that do these things are an abomination unto Yahweh. Because of these abominations, Yahweh thy God doth drive them out from before thee. So do you not think that the Most High is not going to drive these people who do these abominable acts out of the earth again? He drove them out of the Holy Land. He drove us out of the Holy Land for doing after those things. So when Yahushua comes back in his return, he's going to drive these people out again by destroying them. And the elect, they're going to come down off those chariots, which is what the world English calls UFOs. And we are going to start a kingdom, which would be the kingdom of Israel, which will be an everlasting kingdom. And it will be a world wherein dwelleth righteousness. And the elect are going to be able to actually enforce the laws of the Bible. So yeah, man, there will be witch hunts in the kingdom of heaven. But it ain't going to be no hunt. It's just going to be witch judgments, because we're going to know, man. We'll have spiritual power, man. You think you're going to be able to fucking get in your cupboard and get your Ouija board out and do your secret shit and not be seen? We'll be able to see your ass, man. And we'll be able to come and, drag you out of your fucking little covens and shit and deal with your asses, man. See, witchcraft is running the world, it's the in thing now, but it ain't going to be the in thing in the kingdom of heaven, man. Now let me jump to Revelation 22. Let them be filthy still. Here we go. Revelation 22 and verse 10. And he saith unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let them be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. So the elect are going to receive their reward, and all the wicked will receive their reward. And those who have followed after the ways of the wicked by, practicing their odious and evil works, such as witchcraft, they're going to get their reward too. So with that, I'm going to close out. So giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Makakadash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom to the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel and the rest of the elect destined to be saved. Lord willing, that has been an edifying lesson. Shalom for now, and I'll catch you on the next. Shalom.